People might have missed it. But there's a free weekend coming this weekend. Woo! It starts on actually tomorrow, so Thursday, February 27th. Preload's now available on PS4 and PC. Yep. If you log in between tomorrow and the end of Sunday, then you will get that mask. What's the intention for the new end game for players?
So when people complete the Keener campaign, they're greeted by the seasons, which we'll cover in a moment. But what they have is they've gotten into the level 40 gear, and now they've got in front of them this mostly empty recalibration bench with its large checklist of gear to go after. You've got a bunch of activities and projects and bounties are making a return inside of Warlords of New York. So bounties have been simplified. Target intel is now gone. So if you have a bounty, you can just do a bounty. For players who are inside of the end game of Warlords of New York, the priority target network is now replaced with a new system called the seasonal manhunt. But for players who don't get the expansion, priority target network's still there, and you find yourself in this chase to get better and better gear, because now the way that gear rolls work, normal prepares you for hard, which prepares you for challenge, which prepares you for heroic. It's a much clearer stair step forward in how to progress in the game, and particularly since real time matters with seasons, there's this periodic injection of new gear to help you out with that process.
Yeah. One thing that is really important is that you get both New York and Washington, D.C. So it's not just New York. We're basically adding to your playground. Washington, D.C. becomes available in your end game, but it's a new level 40 version of it that, as Trick mentioned, brings back a lot of activities, like all the activities you know, some of them similarly, some of them transform, like the bounties, and then new activities on top of it with, for example, the legendary difficulty and things like that, and then structures all of that with the seasons. And we've changed the budget system, so we don't actually have that budget system that we had in the Division 2 so far. Another thing that means now we can actually reward higher difficulty with better quality gear. That means you still have chances by playing a normal difficulty. You can still get god rolls, but you will have more chances to get god rolls by playing higher difficulties.
And you see that little chevron on top of any loot pile that has a god roll in it.
Any gear you drop is a potential upgrade for your recalibration library. There's still a chance that it rolled one stat higher than what you already have stored in your recal. All those changes are coming with Title Update 8, so that means even if you don't have Warlords of New York, you will still experience all the gear changes.
Yeah, just to go back to the frequency of loot drops, those are being tailored to make sense for the new system.
So this is a roadmap of a season. So this is the first season. So every 3 weeks, a new target unlocks in the seasonal manhunt. A week after that, a league starts. We're going to cover what these words mean. After that, a global event starts, but also you can see that in March there's a totally different type of event. The Urban Jungle Apparel event is going to run inside of there. We have 3 global events, new global events this season, 4 leagues. It's just a heck of a lot.
It is a 3 months long mini campaign in a way. And by mini campaign, what we mean is that first, there is actually a story, there is a narrative, there is a reason why you're doing what you're doing. And that story takes place directly after the events of the Warlords of New York campaigns. All that story is about new targets that you will have to hunt and take down. And then in the same time, it's a calendar of activities. So as you've seen, every week a new activity. And all those activities are about just kind of, changing the way you play and forcing you to re-experience the game in different ways and, constantly making the game feel fresh. So that's really the main idea behind the season. And then all of that is, of course, takes form in different activities that we're going to be going through.
Yeah, and I'd love to cover that narrative framework by actually going to the next slide, if I could. This is actually an image of the new manhunt that becomes available 1 week after the launch of the game. So you do have a week to take your time completing the Warlords of New York campaign that following Tuesday after launch. At the same time, we roll over all of the dailies currently. This manhunt will become active. You will get a briefing on the targets. The seasons will become active, and you will see this first target, who is located in West DC. They do a significant takeover of those areas. They are working with a hostile faction. That hostile faction is now present inside of those zones, even if they usually would not be. And so you go through some familiar missions and familiar activities inside of a new context. And all the while getting new narrative information about this target, their relationship with the prime target, what their mission plan is, and sometimes even their relationship to the other lieutenants inside of this structure. If you've reached endgame before this has unlocked, you actually can intercept transmissions between them by completing other activities inside of the world. So what's nice is if you get to this center target is using a new unique skill variant. And they are going to use it against you. And once again, as sort of in the style of Warlords of New York that we've established, you will pry that from their cold dead hands, and it's yours, friend. You have a new skill variant, and that's how you get it. You get it from this target.
Yeah, that'll be the first time people see it as well in that fight, right, where it's used against you.
It's nowhere else. Yeah, it shows up. That is a unique. We're calling them target missions. It takes you to a familiar location, but is entirely rescripted with an entirely new set of enemies, and it's all themed around introducing you to that mechanic and introducing you to that new tool. I would also note that you'll notice at the top right of that screen it says normal. When you set the global difficulty, you can reset. You do reset this progress. Any progress towards the prime target remains. So it's like if you have actually killed one of their lieutenants, congrats, you've killed one of their lieutenants. But it's like, oh, I want to see Constitution Hall, Foggy Bottom, and West End taken over again so that I can go fight those control points again. You can go fight those control points again.
Batman Hunt, you can do it in normal, hard challenge.
Yep. All the way up to heroic.
You can do
and you can do it with the 5 directives.
Yes, you can add directives as well. You can expect, with new seasons, new manhunt, new skill variant.
It's also important, like, we will eventually have an in-game way to get that skill variant once you're inside of Season 2.
Yes.
But we are not revealing what that is, but it will just be a thing you can do inside of the game to get access to it. So we wanted to make certain that seasons were really easy to access since they drive most of our experience of the end game. This is the pause menu. You're going to have a season level. There will be information about the activities that are available and a little bit about the target. That's why we had to redact it. But if you go into that menu, you can see your season level and there's more information. But the big thing that drives what does a season level mean is that it moves you along this timeline of rewards. You've got a standard track on top and you have a premium track on bottom. And for people who've purchased Warlords of New York, that premium track comes with the expansion.
Yeah.
We want everyone to have an experience of what that is like. The top track, I wish I could scroll this screen over. I keep trying to with my hands. Those first 35 levels basically are just back-to-back new items from new gear sets, new brands, new everything, all along the standard track, all of the new named weapons, all the way up culminating to in a new exotic that is new to this season.
The season itself, and so the season with the manhunt, with all the activities, the global events and all of that is available for every Warlords of New York player. So as long as you purchase the expansion, you will get access to the season and the seasons, each one of them that's included. What you pay with the premium pass is just the extra track of rewards on top of the standard track. So you get basically more rewards, you get more items, you get more gear, and also a lot of unique premium stuff. Like there is a whole outfit that we're going to be covering. There's a bunch of like named weapon skins, so skins uniquely made to change the appearance of named weapons. We have new gear dice that are the full gear dice, the ones that cover the entire gear. All of that is part of the premium track, which is what you will be purchasing. Except for Season 1, because as Trick said, Season 1, we are making the premium track of Season 1 available for free for all the Warlords of New York player. So you won't have to purchase that one. Starting with Season 2, this will be a purchase, and that will be priced at 10 euros or equivalent for
I think it's cool.
Wherever you come from.
People get a chance to experience what that track is like for free or included in their Warlords purchase. They can see if that's something that they like. I would just reinforce what you said before. The things that are on that premium track, none of the exclusives on that track have power tied to them.
Correct. So there are things down there that will give you more items. So like the bottom left item in that image is a season cache. That is going to give you 2 random season items, but none of that is exclusive to that track. That is you can get those by participating in events and get them other ways. There are even some of those on the standard track. But you will get some gameplay items, but the things that are unique on that premium track are all
Yeah.
cosmetic.
There is a pass for each season to get the premium track. So when I say it's 10 euros or about $10, people are asking, what does that mean in American money? That means $10 basically. What that means is this is what you need to, what you would purchase to unlock the premium track of a season. So for season 2, you pay $10, you get the premium track of season 2, and so on and so forth for each season. Except again for season 1, because this is included directly in your Warlords of New York purchase, so you don't have to spend those $10. This is already granted to you for free.
Cool.
But that, again, is just the premium track. The rest of the season, the activities, all the rewards, this is all available for all Warlords of New York for every season.
3 months per season?
Yeah, it's 12 weeks of active and 1 week of that preseason where you get foreshadowing and stuff like that. You'll notice that we've got this one redacted slot here because we've been saving sort of a big surprise for next. Some people put together because they recognize the gear set that is along the top, but along that top set of rewards, you're going to get a full Striker gear set and a full System Corruption gear set as you progress through the season. Striker is a returning old favorite, remastered now for Division 2, and System Corruption is a explicitly more PvP-focused gear set. These are available on the season track. They're available inside of season caches, which are things that you get by doing seasonal activities and stuff like that. But in addition, Striker is available anywhere gear sets are sold. Inside of targeted loot, you can find them just as random drops. System Corruption, on the other hand, is our new Dark Zone specific gear set. It lives in the Dark Zone. It is explicitly meant for the Dark Zone. So the main talent, the 4-piece talent, is something called Striker's Gamble. Weapon hits amplify total weapon damage by 0.5%, stacking up to 50 times. 1 stack is lost each second. 3 stacks are lost every time you miss a shot. Yeah, so one of the big changes that has come into the way that we handle gear sets inside of Warlords of New York is that, well, actually, all gear in Warlords of New York is that gear has talents on chest and backpack, and that's where those live. Otherwise, exotics have them because exotics are exotics and they do whatever the hell they want. So the chest piece talent for Striker set is Press the Advantage. It increases the max stats for Striker's Gamble from 50 to 100. And the backpack talent is Risk Management. Decreases stacks lost and missed shots for Striker's Gamble from 3 to 2. So System Corruption has the Hack Step protocol, replaces armor kits with an instant infinite usability on a 20-second cooldown that grants 50% bonus armor and hides your nameplate for 5 seconds. It is, you're about to get into a fight, you turn this thing on. Because you'll notice, you don't have armor kits anymore, so I hope you brought some other way to get your armor back. The chest piece talent on that is the Compiler Optimization. It decreases the hack step cooldown from 20 seconds to 15. And the backpack talent is Multi-Threaded Execution. It increases hack step protocol bonus armor from 50% to 100%.
The helmet looks super sick. That's part of the Striker outfit.
That is on the premium track.
It's on the premium track.
But the premium track is free for Warlords of New York.
This is the idea with the premium track. There is a outfit that comes that you can unlock. That is, connected to the gear set of the season.
This is when you go to the pause menu and you actually come into the seasons menu, this is what greets you. It tells you what your season level is, it tells you what rewards are coming up, it tells you what the current ongoing events are and how much time is left in all of them, as well as you can just scroll right and scroll left and see the history and the future throughout the entire season for all 3 months of content. And you can see what all of these activities are, what their rewards are, and all of that. Right now, what we are looking at is the Polarity Switch global event. So when a global event is started, players opt into it. You do so here inside of the Seasons menu. You can do that if you're in any safe space. And now when you walk out, you're greeted by these enemies who are yellow or blue. And you'll notice that your arm is either yellow or blue, positive or negatively charged. You do extra damage based on how well you're playing, essentially, to same polarity enemies. And if you really want them to change polarity, you can go up and punch them in the face. That'll change the polarity of them and everyone else in their fire team. And so there's a lot of strategy. Your polarity changes every time you reload or every time you switch weapons. And by matching, you'll notice that he's got a 4 over his shoulder and he's about to have a 5. Yeah. That is a stacking buff for, hey, you're doing this correct. That damage buff is getting stronger for shooting those same color enemies. It caps at 5. However, if you get it wrong, You're essentially given exactly one mistake, is it wipes out all of your stacks. And then a short moment later, if you hit with a second bullet, you will receive a shock.
So again, here you're yellow, so you want to shoot the yellow enemies, because if you shoot the blue, you're going to be punished. So as long as you shoot the yellow, you build up your stack. Here you switch to blue because there's a blue coming, so up, you can kill the blue, build up your stack. But you always have to be aware of what color they have, what color you have. As long as you play it right, you're going to get that damage buff, which means you're actually going to be more powerful than in the normal game. But as soon as you do it wrong, like that, boom.
Because this stacks really complexly with some of the directives, because one of the directives is ammo hoarders, and so you actually get a lot less ammo, and every time you reload, it dumps all of the ammo that was inside of your magazine. But directives are always opt-in. You can turn them on for just a mission or turn them on globally.
So when you're in the season, you will see that you actually have 2 XP bars that are progressing together. The first one on top, the orange one, is your shade level, if you remember, with the watch and the progression that comes with it.
Yep.
And then the one underneath, the green one, that's your progression, your season progression. So that's your progression towards the next season level.
The season levels go from 1 to 100, and so there's that whole long stretch of rewards. And those level ups are timed to be about the same as you experience right now with the field proficiency caches.
Yeah.
So if you're somebody who just wants to grind through the season levels because you're going to have just a really marathon play session, we're expecting, about 50 to 100 hours. But if you're somebody who engages every weekend and plays inside of the events that go on during the course of the season, each of those is tuned to, if you engage with it fully, provide you about 15 levels. Mm-hmm. So if you are somebody who plays just sort of on the weekend and wants to get into it for really intense sessions just then, you can catch up. If you fall behind inside of a season, it's still fully achievable.
There is 3 global events in Season 1.
This is the polarity switch interface. Global events are structured around the concept of challenges. So each of these challenges you'll see has a star value. So you get 4 stars for killing 200 positively charged enemies. And those stars will get you rewards along your way. And so each day of a global event, new challenges will unlock. But those are unlocking. Those aren't becoming available and becoming unavailable. So on day 5 of a global event, you have all of these challenges to do. I recommend paying attention to them as a player, because some of them will kind of teach you the less obvious mechanics of the events. Every time that you complete a challenge, also you get a big chunk of season XP. Well, XP. So that'll apply both to your shade level and to your season level. Every one of these global events has 10 rewards in it. You will get a unique patch that celebrates the global event itself. And then along it, as you complete challenges, you'll get crafting materials, season caches, which are those drops of 2 powerful seasonal items, named items, and even as you notice at the end here, that tier 9 reward is an exotic cache, which is a random exotic weapon or gear. It is curated so that it doesn't ever contain anything that is exclusive to the raid, and I think there are a couple of other omissions from that we want to keep special. You get a unique backpack trophy for each of the different global events, and the global events will return from season to season, so you'll have an additional chance to get those patches and those backpack trophies.
When you play global events, for example, global event is one of the events that is available as part of a season. Mm-hmm. So you play the global event. As you play the global event, you're going to gain XP by just killing NPCs or completing some of the global event challenges. That will, as you complete the challenges, that's going to make you work towards the next global event reward. But at the same time, as all of that brings you XP, it contributes to your season progression as well.
Global events last 1 week. There are going to be 3 of them during the course of the season, as you saw on the graphic at the start of this. However, we do have a special 2-week kind of event that is a league. So while global events are intended to be really welcoming, leagues are skill challenges to our players. So as you can see here, this is the West Side League. This is the first league inside of the season. It's themed around outcasts. So you've got 4 time trials on this. And you are challenged to say, oh, I'm going to beat these as fast as I can. And you will essentially get 1 to 10 milestones, 1 to 10 stages completed on those. If you complete enough stages, you will be getting rewards. It's a mix of unique and some of them have seasonal caches and stuff, but there are also unique rewards to these leagues. So this is an example. This is our Outcast Elites Killed milestone list. So, I get 1 stage of this for killing 15 elites. And then all the way down to, hey, 250 elites down there at the bottom. And there's a leaderboard on this. You can see how you place compared to other players.
Yeah.
Every week, these will reset your progress on them, but you'll retain your stages complete. You can just clear this out. There are 60 stages right in front of you. It's 60 stages to get to the end of this. You can engage with these and get, oh, I only got half my progress this week. I can get half my progress the next week.
Yeah,
Cool.
And I think one thing to really differentiate global event and leagues is the fact that global events are really about just like playing the game with the modifier active and playing with the modifier. So it's not meant to be hard. It's meant to be just like learning to master the modifier, playing around with the modifier, and then putting the time into actually going all the way to the end. Whereas the leagues are more meant for tough challenges in a way. So we're going to be giving you time trials and things like that to really make you really try to push yourself and try to complete this mission in challenging as fast as you can, or that mission in heroic as fast as you can. On top of that, of course, you get your tiers, but you also have leaderboards that are linked to each one of those challenges.
What's also nice is we do, if those last two Outcast members burned and Outcast elites killed, are a more investment time, like, oh, I'm going to make a build that burns people. And there's some solving from a build standpoint, but those aren't like, as I have to be perfect exactly once in order to do like a time trial. So there's an opportunity for you if you don't want to have the high tension of always dealing with a timer. I'm going to go to the rewards of this. Once again, there's a unique patch associated with each league. This is not a just you have started it ever trophy, unlike the global events. This does actually require completing some of the activities. You've got your exotic cache in there, you've got your named item cache, and then once again a unique backpack trophy if you can get all the way to 60 stages unlocked. There's also a special interface that pops up when you're playing them in game to give you a more in-your-face reminder that you are updating activities. All of the league activities are marked on the mega map so that you can tell, oh, that's where the time trials are. When you're selecting difficulty, it points it to it. If you've set your global difficulty higher than challenge, for example, usually you would not be able to do challenging missions, but if they're part of a league, it just allows you to set it to challenging again. Apparel events are coming back. You saw it on the first slide. Urban Jungle is going to be our apparel event. It's going to be 3 weeks long. It's going to have a 1 week closing period again. It coincides with our second target of the season coming available, and also therefore the second league. We've done like a major pass on the UI so that it's like, oh, I am 2 levels away from getting my next event key. Yeah. It says it when you level up. It says it on the menu. It shows how many of the boxes have I opened versus how many keys do I have. All of that's available to you. It also gives you that rad mask that you saw in the preview is actually the completion reward.
The idea with seasons is really, it's really for us to kind of pace things. So the idea is every week there is an activity, or pretty much every week there's an activity that is available for you. So we help you prioritize and say, okay, this week this is what you should be doing. From the get-go, you will see all the activities that will be available for the next 3 months. Mm-hmm. You will be able to see, what rewards you're going to get and all of that, what rewards you get from the season, from each activity. It's really about you just looking at all of that and deciding how much you want to invest. So it's really about just giving you all the elements for the next 3 months and let you decide, what are the objectives that you set for yourself and what are you going to be working to.
Even resetting the manhunt, every time you complete a named zone inside of that manhunt comes with a big burst of XP as well.
While there is a lot to do with all this seasonal content and that sort of thing, you don't have to do any of it.
Projects have been heavily simplified as well, so there's a daily and a weekly of PvE, there's a daily and a weekly of PvP. It's all done in the field for players who've completed Warlords of New York. Target intel has gone away from bounty.
Even though when you look at this, the rewards track or the rewards tracks that we showed for the season, and we said as you rank up, you're gonna get gear and item and all the seasonal gear. When the season starts, all the gear is also added to the drops, to the loot drops. So that means that even if you're after this gear set, you don't even need to play with the season at all to get it. You will have chances to drop it by playing, regular gameplay. Seasons are endgame level 40 only. So that means you need to own Warlords of New York to be able to play a season, and you need to have completed the campaign, the Keener campaign of Warlords of New York.
I mean, the narrative picks up from the events of Warlords.
It's a continuation of the story, so you need to have finished the main storyline first.
Towards the end of the season, like right now we're aiming for maybe the last 3 weeks, but we're not sure. We know that there are going to be a lot of new players coming into the game, and we know that it can be really rough to clear out that schedule to engage with all of our content, especially if you join late. We are going to be putting onto the season's reward menu the option to actually just purchase the season levels outright using premium currency. We are going to keep that to the end of the season. It is exclusively like, if you are somebody else who also has not the time or have joined too late, like, you deserve to also get access to that exotic that is on that timeline. You deserve to get those the gear dyes and emotes and that kind of thing that are on the season track. And if you join late, that's not really going to be a possibility for you.
Sure.
And so we want to make those available. And so only at the end of the season, we are going to open up the option to actually purchase only season levels. They won't impact your shade level. They're just going to get you those items inside of that track.
If you arrive at the end, you still have a way to catch up.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if you've completed all of the events, if you literally do all of the events up to, I think, even the second target in the season, you're going to be most the way through the season levels, and you're going to complete it sometime during the third target.
Pay to win? No, the only things that you are on those tracks, nothing that you pay for will give you power.
Well, the premium track, I mean,
That's
so
different.
you've got a small number of season caches in there that'll give you randomized versions of the things on the standard track. And the standard track items are good. Those are not being rolled at normal difficulty. They're being rolled at a higher difficulty than that. But those are available to everyone. And by leveling up, they're concentrated very early in the track. They lead up to level 35 where that exotic is.
So they are, just to be 100% transparent here, yes, there are items on the premium track, but there is no exclusive gameplay item that you can't get anywhere else. Everything that you get on the premium track is random. It's just more items from the season, but this is stuff you're going to get on the standard track as well, and stuff that you're going to be able to drop in the game as well.
So you'll get apparel keys, crafting materials, some of those random caches, the unique season outfit, some unique named weapon skins. So the named weapons inside of the game, you can get a skin that actually changes their appearance, but only that weapon. Some emotes, some unique gear dyes that'll completely change the color of gear, faction keys for opening faction chests, which, by the way, now show up on the minimap. Oh, and textile.
We're going to take a look at this animated, it's like an animated short that was done. It was super cool. There's some narrative things in there.
We were their best agents.
Division drone activated.
The first wave, when things turned ugly, they abandoned us. I had to do something. I had to take control.
Damn it.
I know you will help me. You will lend me your skills, and in return, I will get you the answers you seek and deserve.
Move! Go, go, go!
The Division betrayed you, Theo, just like when they had your father killed.
The system is corrupt to its core, man. If we don't do anything about it, it'll never end. We must take down the Division.
Don't worry, we'll get them. We'll get the truth out.
Stock exchange is secured. Needs a bit of a cleanup here. It's not too shabby. I think my Rikers and I could call this place home.
I'm sure you'll make it work. I know family is everything to you, now more than ever. But don't forget your end of the bargain, Dragoff.
Dude, we'll get you what you need. And we'll keep Theo safe.
Good. I knew you and I would get along.
Hey, where you going?
Finish what you started. I need to catch a shadow.
Give me one reason not to kill you.
You don't want to kill me. We're the same, Kajika. We were both betrayed by the Division, left to die like dogs. Except we don't die easy, do we?
What do you want, Keener?
I know who you're looking for. I will bring you everyone who betrayed you. And you can do what you want to them.
Are you serious, Keener? This was never going to be solved by the Division. They didn't have the guts to do what was necessary. And we were the ones who paid the price. The cleaners, though, they had the right idea all along.
You're right, Vivian. And with you leading them, they're more powerful than ever.
I will do what needs to be done. And I will see this to the very end.
Agent Lau, we're closing in on Keter. Ready to breach. Flash out! Go, go!
Agents, did you get him?
No. He's gone, Faye.
We need backup. Command, patch me through to DC.
So, a couple of changes are going to happen either way, whether you have the expansion or not. And that's because of the whole new gear system. I think it's important to know that stuff that used to give you 500 gear score items guaranteed is no longer going to do that, because 500 gear score, or now 515, is a god-rolled, fully max power item. And we don't just hand those to you all of the time, basically. So what's going to happen to the crafting bench is that we're going to go back to a range of power. So if you're still using gear score because you don't play Warlords, you will see that it has a certain minimum of gear score and a maximum of gear score. Kind of what it was in the world tiers, but in a narrower range. And then if you purchase the last upgrade to your bench, which used to set it to 500, that's going to just raise the minimum of gear score so that you filter out the worst items that you craft, basically. And for Warlords, as soon as you enter New York, we're going to set your crafting bench back to specialized quality, so that it kind of follows the loot progression again, because you're going to start seeing green and blue and purple and orange. So we're going to set it to blue, so it's on par with what you find, but then automatically by leveling up, it will go up to purple and then eventually back to high end. Just like any other gear, exotics are gonna change a lot in terms of how they work and fit the new gear system and reworked talents and so on. So we really want you to experience the new content and find the new stuff without you just pressing a button and having a fully god-rolled item, and that would kind of nullify the new end game, basically. So we do want to bring that back, but we want to do it in a way that makes sense for the new gear game and also utilizes the exotic materials in a better way than it does today. So don't throw away your exotics. They're not useless, but we won't be bringing those back to level 40 through the crafting bench. You can still find them at level 40 if you actually really need to have them, but you have to do that by engaging with the new end game and the new content.